Okay. How do we start this episode, guys?
Hello, murderers. Today we are talking about the little people.
And what do you mean by little people?
What do you mean by the little people?
There's all kinds of little people all over the world.
I think we can agree that Peter Dinklage is maybe one of the best actors of all time, who also happens to have dwarfism. But not that kind of little person.
Nope.
No. We're talking about spiritual, paranormal little people, right?
Members of the Fae, or Damon.
And
Funny enough, have popped up all over the world in different forms, although vaguely the same.
I'm just going to ask a question. The word fae, do we know where that term came from?
I don't.
No. I know, I believe it's a Gaelic word, but I don't know for sure. I've never really looked into it.
Okay. I'm just curious because it's not a word I'm super familiar with other than recently.
Listening to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I've kind of just always used it as a catch-all term for the Fae folk. It's like another word for Damon, but it doesn't have the negative connotation.
So, I mean, this subject goes into mythical creatures as well, and there are all kinds of little people throughout the entire world. Native American culture has some, Scandinavian culture, European. I mean, the Fae in of itself is all kinds of different little creatures. Fairies, sprites, gnomes. But that's kind of more Europe. I would say Fae is more maybe more European.
mm-hmm. It's like Gaelic, I would say. Yeah, maybe European.
Northern European, yeah.
Northern
So I feel like
European.
The Britons have it too. Did you know that there's also little people in Africa? That's fascinating. All right, so
Theirs are way more hostile, it seems.
They're very angry. All right, so stay tuned after this.
Oh, I was waiting for a knife break.
Got the noisiest shit. All right.
There is a medicine story that tells of Crow's fascination with her own shadow. She kept looking at it, pecking at it until her shadow woke up and became alive. Then Crow's shadow ate her. Crow is dead Crow now. Join us as we attempt to look through the wandering crow's eye to find the gateway to the supernatural, to seek to know the unknowable mysteries of creation. Welcome to the Wandering Crow Podcast.
Okay. Dear murderers, we're going to be completely upfront with you. We got the dates mixed up, some of us. So
We talked about that in a previous episode as well.
did we? Yeah, that has happened before, which is why we're going to institute a calendar from now on so that all three of us can look at the calendar and know exactly what we're doing.
Looking at you, JT.
Looking at you, Cameron. So JT and I were expecting to interview Cameron's friend, who is half Mojave, half Chimichhueve. There we go. I got there. Chimichhueve.
That is how she pronounced it, yeah.
So she's half Chimichhueve, half Mojave, and she was going to come on and tell us some of her experiences with the supernatural, and maybe share a little bit of some of her cultural perspective on the supernatural as well, which we were very excited about. Turns out she's in Disneyland because the dates were mixed up.
Well, she still is very excited about doing it, but it didn't happen last week because she was working, and now she's in Disneyland, so it's going to be postponed for a little while.
And another week. In the meantime, Cameron thought that this week we were doing an episode on little people of mythology from around the world. So he's prepared for this topic, and I expect him to do a lot of talking. JT and I, however, are going to be flying by the seat of our pants And hopefully we end up with a good episode. I don't know, but it's a little bit of a half-ass episode. And I'm hoping that it's still very fun and we learn some new things. So, and a little bit of housekeeping. The website, by the time this episode airs, the website should be completed, I believe. Or very, very close to. But it is available. You can get on there. Is it wanderingcrowpodcast.com?
Right. Oh, yes. No, it is the wanderingcrowpodcast.com.
Is it the or just Wandering Crow?
Let me pull it up real quick.
Okay.
thewanderingcrowpodcast.com.
Okay. So thewanderingcrowpodcast.com is a website that is actually already available. Well, not for me. I can't pull it up.
Did she put it off? Yeah, because I can see it.
I don't. I can't. JT, can you see it?
Visit
you type
the
in
site.
thewanderingcrowpodcast.com?
Oh, no. It's thewanderingcrow.com. Not podcast. Thewanderingcrow.com. And it should... I mean, it's loaded. And it's got a lot of cool stuff in there. Obviously, October 19th, we did not record the Exploring the Spiritual with Gwen.
It's beautiful. I like it. So we have a website, and we're going to end up having some cool things on there, some merchandise if you want it. And
we are not affiliated with Archmasters.
We are not affiliated with Archmasters. That's a placeholder. So, it's in construction. We do also have a Gmail account, wanderingcrowpodcast@gmail.com. And we have an Instagram, The Wandering Crow, and we have a Facebook group for The Wandering Crow. And we are still working on the YouTube, but it's coming.
We have a YouTube. We just need to actually put stuff in it.
Yeah, there's nothing loaded, so there's no point in going yet. But you could subscribe if you want to. Show us that you care. And I think we would love to have you guys email us. Email us, send us in some stories, let us know what you're thinking, review the episodes, share the episodes, and subscribe if you can. I also just want to say, Nigerian listener, hey, I see you. You've listened to 17 episodes. They went nuts.
Nice.
You're beating the Serbian listener, Nigeria. I just want you to know that. You officially are in the lead.
It is a competition, and we will judge you how much we like you based off of this.
Pick it up, Serbia. Where'd you go, guy? Probably just busy. I'm sure it's a busy time of year. Anyway, we love you all equally. It's not a competition, but we're very excited to have everybody who's listening, and tons of U.S. listeners and tons of Canadian listeners, and we've got some from Australia or the Oceania area. So just nobody in Asia yet. Come on, Asia. And nobody in South America either. Those are the only two continents we're not on yet. So we gotta...
Which is surprising, because South Africa, you would think, there's a lot of English speakers down there.
South America.
Oh. I thought you said South Africa.
No. We have African listeners with Nigeria. We have African listeners.
South Africa.
Well, no, not South Africa. No, we don't have any listeners in South Africa.
Well, there you go.
Which I realize is a country, but we don't have any listeners there. But we do have listeners in Africa, which is none in South America and none in any of the Asian countries. So I don't know what's up with that. Okay. Now that we got the business stuff out of the way, let's get into the episode.
For this episode, my name will be Tomte, which is the Swedish name for a gnome.
Oh.
Meaning homestead man.
Homestead man.
You're a borrower.
And there's a song in Swedish. Hey Tomte Gubbe, slå I glasen. It's a drinking song.
Are you really fluent in Swedish?
I wouldn't say fluent. Once upon a time I was, but I lived in Sweden for 2 years and spoke pretty well. But when I'm there, I can get around and speak just conversational. Mm-hmm. Get by.
That's cool.
So
the isn't the gnome also a symbol for swingers?
Is it?
No.
I feel like I heard that somewhere.
That's the flamingo.
Oh, the
So
flamingo
I
is
would like to
swingers?
go over the. So apparently, the etymology of duende has roots in folklore, originally referring to the mischievous supernatural creature akin to a goblin or elf.
And what was that? You
Uh,
said a duende?
duende.
Duende. Okay.
And so it does. It's started in Spanish culture. It was brought over to the Americas, Latin American cultures, and the term evolved to take on a more abstract and artistic meaning to reflect the intense, almost otherworldly force in artistic expression. So duende is a maleficent spirit that most people, when they see it, it's not a good thing. They freak out. It's a really bad omen, typically. You'll see a lot of YouTube videos where people see something like scurry from one side of the camera to the other, and they freak out because that is not something good to have in your home.
And
It will cause misfortune, and aside from your things going missing, they will ruin your life.
what do they look like?
Little people.
That's it? They're just like tiny
Every image I've
people?
seen literally looks like a gnome. Like they have the red
Interesting.
pointed hats. They're little people. They, that could be wrong because some of the artist renderings that I've seen are like goblins, little miniature goblins that are like about yay big that will scurry.
So yay big.
According-
He made it like a foot,
Like 6 inches tall. Yeah.
which in meters in the metric system is I don't know. I don't even know what that is.
It's like a
Not
third
not
of a meter.
Yeah, a
It's
third
a
of
third
yeah.
of a meter.
Yeah.
So. According to Google AI, they are similar to elves, goblins, dwarves, gnomes, or leprechauns.
Yes.
So you said that
a
they're
lot of
like
the artist renderings are like leprechauns without the hat. Like, you got that old man features, very like sunken in features.
It looks to me kind of like a cross between a troll and a gnome.
Yes.
Huh. So okay. Go ahead.
Oh, what were you going to say?
Well, I was curious because you said that things will go missing and they're like malevolent. So like will they cause harm to people? Can you go over that again?
Yes.
You maybe said that.
So they can make you sick. They will change your alarm clock. It's like the gremlins. It's kind of all wrapped in one in the South American culture that I've seen. Is that they will cause electrical disturbances. So your alarm won't go off. Things will go missing. They can make you sick. They can cause death in some cases. Never directly. It's not like you see a little person with a knife just stab you. No, it's just their presence has a negative effect on you, and it's usually attributed to them acting directly upon you. Because there are things that you can do to appease the spirit or get them out of your house altogether.
It sounds an awful lot when you're describing this. Reminds me of the stories of like the house brownie. So that's an English thing. And I guess also like it basically like kind of in general, like the UK kind of area, a house brownie is like this tiny miniature person. And I'm looking at a picture of it right now because I Googled it to kind of refresh my memory. It also wears a little red hat, but it's a spirit that's said to be either very helpful or very mischievous and can actually be malicious depending if you've offended it or not. So like when the owners are asleep, they can leave out little gifts for the house brownie, and the house brownie will perform some tasks around the house that are actually super helpful. But if the owner has offended it or insulted it, it will either just leave outright because you suck and it hates you, or it will stick around and mess with you because it's irritated with you. That's interesting.
And like that's what I've read about it. That's almost verbatim how a duende kind of is. But every time I see a video or like modern references to it, it's a very negative thing.
I feel like we've developed an awful lot of fear around anything spiritual. So it's all
could be it.
Negative now.
So the origin of it is
What, the duende or the brownie?
the duende.
Okay.
Dueño de casa, which means owner of a house.
Okay.
That's kind of where
to be the original.
I mean,
owner,
it's it's Spanish for ghost or goblin. But
because they've appeared in new
varies.
houses. Like they don't just need to be in like an old house. It can be in new homes.
Well, it sounds like they can travel. They can go from place to place if they choose to. And I've heard sometimes that they come with the land sometimes.
That could be the reasoning for the term here.
Have you heard the word Tata before?
Tata?
No. Tell me all about Tata. Because I actually have heard the word Tata, but it's Tatas.
It's Creole.
And it references a part of the female anatomy. So what do you
Creole?
mean?
Okay, so wait, Creole, so very directly tied to the duende.
It's Creole. Creole is what they call it. The duendes in Creole, Tata, which means grandfather or old.
Which makes sense because every picture of them, they look like an old man.
They do.
Yeah, they're wizened,
weathered.
That's another word for it. Yeah, for sure. You know what's interesting? This personality trait, I've heard this described. So there is this really famous Pukwudgie story. JT, Cameron, have you guys heard this story?
Yes.
The Pukwudgie, you have? Okay.
I just heard it today.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Cameron, have you heard the Pukwudgie story?
No.
I've heard about them, but not necessarily the story you're going to tell, but I've heard about the Pukwudgie.
You probably have. It's this one. Every podcast I listen to that is into spooky stuff tells the story of the Pukwudgie of the Bridgewater Triangle. So there's this area in the Northeast somewhere. I don't know exactly. New Jersey. It's in the area of New Jersey, I think, somewhere. And it's called the Bridgewater Triangle. And there's like these swamps and this place that's really not tamed because it's just too wild. It's a crazy natural place. But there's a park that kind of abuts to it. And this gentleman one day was out walking his dog. It was in the evening. And he's on the pathway. And all of a sudden, his dog kind of starts freaking out and growling and barking and stops and won't move forward. And he's talking to his dog, trying to get his dog to come up. And he sees this short creature. And I don't remember the exact description he gives of it, but it's not human. It's maybe like 3 feet tall and a little bit rounded, like kind of got a pudgy belly. And it's motioning to him, and it seems like it's talking to him. And it says, "Kier, kier, Ianchu, Ianchu, kier, kier." And he's like, "What the hell?" And he's like, he's got this terrible feeling in his gut, and he's standing there, and it keeps repeating, "Kier, kier, Ianchu, Ianchu, kier." And like motioning, "Come on, come over." And he decides, especially given the reaction of his dog, that he doesn't want anything to do with it. And he turns around and he goes back home. And he thought about it for a long time afterward. And he really felt like, after sitting with it for a while, it was trying to say, come here, we want you, come here." And this is a man who never had any other spiritual or paranormal experiences in his entire life, never had anything beforehand, and didn't really talk about it a lot until like years later, I think. I might have that detail wrong, but this is it. This is his only paranormal experience in his whole life. And he spent some time kind of looking into it, and he thinks that it was the Pukwudgie. And the Pukwudgie is a little person, mythological character, of the native indigenous peoples of that area. And I don't remember off the top of my head what tribe that might have been.
Algonquin.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you.
Or
I think that's right.
There's another one too. Wampang. I can't say it.
Wampanoag?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Wampanoag. Yeah, that's it.
I remember that. Okay, so they met a pretty grisly end in that area. And I think there was like a Chief Philip? I don't remember. But pretty bad things happened to the natives in that area. But the natives had stories about these creatures. And mostly, I think their philosophy was to just try to steer clear. They could be good. They could do helpful, wonderful things for you. But it was just as easily possible and more common that they would turn on you on the drop of a hat and become really vicious and could cause a lot of harm. So the general notion was it's just better to just stay away. Like, don't be rude, don't offend, but also don't go with them. If you see them, just sort of travel the other way. And that seems to be a pretty common theme anywhere in the world. It's amazing.
And most videos that I've seen where the duende appears is around young children. So that could be why they're freaking out.
Yeah, because they're worried about what will happen to the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would be worried too. Hell yeah, I would be worried.
It's mostly in Spanish, so I don't really hear everything that they're saying. There's subtitles, but it cuts off. Most of those videos are pretty short.
So you've seen, there's videos of kids supposedly interacting with duendes?
Not interacting, but like you'll see one run behind them, and the mom sees it or something.
Oh.
Well, according to what I'm just kind of briefly reading, because, you know, I was unprepared. They can be protectors of their home, especially children's bedrooms.
Interesting.
But they also can be protectors of animals as well.
Yeah.
So don't mistreat your animals in South America. You could get one of these creatures after you.
I know, who is it? Somebody that I follow or read about, or an encounter that I read, or an account that I read. There is actually somebody who does feel like, and she's kind of like a shamanic hippie sort of alternative spirituality practitioner, and she feels like they are in the woods by her house and that they take things from her sometimes, like glasses or keys, and she has to be really vigilant about leaving gifts of like milk and small snacks out for them in order to make sure that her stuff doesn't get stolen. And she has to be very careful not to like complain. And sometimes she says gifts get left, like shiny things sometimes will be left on her doorstep. And she's very like, it's a very tense relationship, it kind of sounds like, where she has to be really careful to not offend. On the same time, she's worried about, without words, creating some kind of agreement that by accepting a gift from them, she is promising some other favor in return, that she's indebted to them, if that makes sense. So she has found some ways around that, where she says, oh, this is very beautiful, and she'll set it somewhere on the porch where it can be like displayed, but she hasn't actually taken it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so because she doesn't want that sense of like, they've given me this favor, they've given me this gift, and now I owe them back. It's really interesting how it seems pretty political, the way that she interacts with these creatures. And she says so far there hasn't been anything bad happen, but she's very, very careful.
Where does she live?
I want to say the Midwest somewhere, but I don't remember exactly. I don't remember where I heard or read this. This is going to drive me crazy. I don't think it's someone I personally know. It may have been a story I read or another podcast that I was listening to, but it was very interesting. And it sounds about right, to be honest. And it seems really consistent with a lot of the lore from around the world that I know about.
Mm-hmm. Well, did you guys ever see the... there's a movie based in Iceland about the... Oh gosh, what was the name of that show now? It starred Will Ferrell, and they were a singing group in Iceland, and they go to like the European version of the like big singing competition.
No. I had no idea Will Ferrell was in a movie where he sings.
Yeah, he actually sings. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I think it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. Let me look it up and get the name of this. But there's gnomes in this. There's like gnome lore in this movie, and it's Icelandic, and it's hilarious.
It's not the one where he's oh fuck, I remember that movie. It's him and his sister are like a couple of pop stars.
Was that
It's
not the
his
ice
sister?
skating?
No, it was another one around the same.
Eurovision.
Yeah. Okay. Never saw it.
Eurovision, the story of Fire Saga. It is hilarious. Just okay. So it's this guy and this girl, and they grew up together in Iceland, and they become a singing group together. Okay. She's in love with him. He's totally clueless. Okay. And she gives offerings to the gnomes in Iceland, and they have actual little gnome houses, little tiny gnome houses, it kind of in the side. And then there's a certain part of the movie where there's this guy trying to block these two from going to this Eurovision contest, and all of a sudden this guy gets killed with a knife, a little pocket knife in his back. And then it's by one of these little houses, and you see Will Ferrell turn to one of the houses, and the door slams shut.
Oh.
Like the gnomes are now helping this group that has been giving offerings to them by killing this person. You have to watch crazy. The show.
So they murdered a guy.
Yeah.
To support him.
To support him and his girlfriend, the girl.
Ooh, yikes, man.
But it's funny. It's really funny. And
So I have a story about a gnome.
Go ahead.
Helped them find a way out of a situation where they were lost in the woods. It goes, when I was young, maybe 7 or 8, in summer camp, we spent the night in the forest somewhere about an hour and a half north of my city. We had a rule that if you that you had to tell the counselor if you needed to use the restroom, or to take a buddy with you. So I woke up late at night, needed to use the restroom, and I woke up my tent mate and woke up the counselor and told him, and she told us to go ahead and let her know when we would go back. My tent mate and I must have taken a wrong turn as we quickly got lost, and we were in our pajamas with only flashlights. We were getting increasingly worried, and we were wandering around for about 15 minutes, and I knew I was going to pee my pants if I didn't find a way out soon. All of a sudden, we heard rustling sounds in the bush next to us. We assumed it had been an animal, but the rustling continued, and it got really loud. It started moving forward along the path we decided to follow. And I'm not sure why, but it seemed like it wanted us to follow it. The bushes were very thick and tall, definitely tall enough for a small child to stand up and straight and not be seen. After following the rustling for a few minutes, we reached the campsite. It had led us back. I went back to the counselor, who started worrying about us, and told her what happened. She brushed it off and took me to the bathroom herself. The next day, as we were about to leave, everyone was gathering by the buses to go home, and a maintenance guy was there. He asked me if I'd enjoyed the trip, and I told him about what happened. He started smiling and told me that it was the gnomes. He said there was a community of gnomes in the woods, and they were rarely seen, but that they were very kind. They often came out at night and were known to pick up trash on the campsite and stuff like that. They had said that they must have noticed that we were lost and didn't want to scare us, so they stayed hidden and led us back. So they can be helpful in certain situations and not kidnap children.
Yeah. Or, I mean, maybe it depends. Maybe there's tribes, like maybe there's small groups of them who have different cultures and different beliefs. I don't know. It's interesting to think about.
Different desires.
Gnomes in Scandinavian culture is very deep rooted.
Really?
Yeah. It's been around a long time. It's been part of that culture for a very long time.
What do the Scandinavians think about gnomes? Does it match with some of these other general things, is like the duende and the house brownie, or is it a little different?
So when I say Scandinavia, I'm really kind of more talking about the Norway, Sweden, Finland kind of area. So tomte is what they call them in Swedish. Nisser is in Norway, and tonttu in Finland, in Finnish. But they're believed to be elusive spirits to guard and bless the farmstead, which kind of gets the idea of the quote-unquote garden gnome. They say that the gnome's soul springs from the first owner and eternally protecting their home. They don't like change. What else? They're solitary by nature. So they don't live in groups, if you will.
Oh.
Yet the presence of the gnomes pre-mediates the Nordic soul. So it really kind of is more, I believe, like kind of northern Swedish, in remote villages, in these areas, which most of the kind of areas in the north part of Scandinavia are very kind of remote.
Mm-hmm. Are they, and maybe you said this, but are they mischievous? Are they likely to cause harm to people? Or are they pretty, it sounds like they're pretty nice so far, is what you're describing.
You said that they don't like change, so that can be an issue.
Yeah.
Most people kind of equate the gnomes with the Christmas gnome or Christmas.
Okay.
And so something that there's a story in here of folklore. There's a servant girl. So what they would do on Christmas Eve is they would leave out a bowl of porridge with butter before going to bed.
Okay.
This is on Christmas Eve. And that was an offering to the gnomes. And if they're pleased with this offering, they will bless the home for another year. So, but if you forget or try to do any sort of pranks, there will be misfortune, pranks, and things that follow you. So one folklore tells of a servant girl who thought to play a trick, hiding the butter at the bottom of the bowl. And so when the gnome found no butter in his porridge, he killed the family's best cow in retaliation.
Yikes.
Then when he actually finished the porridge and discovered the missing butter, the gnome felt guilty and brought the neighbor's finest cow to replace the one he had killed.
Oops, sorry. Here's the stolen cow instead.
This is a reminder of the importance of keeping traditions alive.
Oh my God.
So yeah. So the Yule Tomte is the Swedish Santa Claus. And
okay.
That is very much he's very much a gnome look-like creature, even as an adult. Swedish culture, Santa Claus comes on Christmas Eve, or Yule Tomte comes on Christmas Eve, and usually people wear this really creepy mask, and it's creepy.
Yeah,
because it's like an old man looking thing with the red hat.
Kind of. Some of those aren't those supposed to be like the elder gods that were forgotten, sort of like the Krampus story.
Yes, potentially. I believe so. But they have different powers. They can shapeshift. They have control over nature. They have foresight, healing, and of course invisibility.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go and live in this area, you will want to make sure you name your gnome, and you need to pick a fitting name. So my name is Tomte. That's my, because that's Swedish, but
that's the name of your gnome, or that's your gnome name?
That's the name of my gnome. They have 30 different names here.
So are you saying that your home has a gnome that you perform these traditions with?
No, I don't. Oh. That's the Scandinavian culture, the culture behind these gnomes, what they do, especially around Christmas for these gnomes. These are in the smaller villages, remote villages in the Scandinavian area.
Now, are you the first owner of your home?
I am not.
Sounds risky.
I'm the third. I'm the third owner of my home, so
I have recently started to consider, even before this episode, that I have an upset little mischief spirit in my home. And I think I could name it probably like a brownie, like a house brownie. We had 3 fairly big things break all in a very short period of time. Garbage disposal, and then it turned out the dishwasher, and then the garage. The garage door just like broke. Just like totally broke. So we had to replace all that stuff, and it's been very expensive, and I'm about tired of things in the house breaking. So I'm thinking I need to do a cleansing of the home and maybe send some gifts out to any spirit that I've possibly offended, because it's been tough in the house lately. And you guys had another thing break, didn't you, JT? Maybe you need to start enforcing some of these traditions.
yeah, maybe. I haven't dealt with it yet. I don't even know. I'm a little afraid to.
Well, how are you going to name it and not actually perform any traditions for it?
Well, I mean, I'm just
now it knows you're aware.
I mean, I thought I knew about gnome lore in Scandinavia, and I know nothing after doing a little bit of research. Like it's even more deep than I thought. But gnomes typically get their red hat from there's a specific mushroom that's kind of rare that has a red top that kind of goes pointed or
yeah,
like that.
Also
like
a cone shape.
Yeah, like a cone shape.
Is it a psychedelic, Cameron?
I believe it is. It's very rare though to find, and in Sweden, mushroom foraging is a thing. Very much a thing. People
It is here too. There are actually mushroom foraging groups here for Arizona. In fact, I talked to them to get a little bit more information about the kinds of mushrooms that you can find in the Mogollon area in preparation for the Travis Walton episode.
Oh.
There is a pretty thriving mushrooming group here in Arizona. They're very smart.
So we could maybe go find our own psychedelic mushrooms in the Mogollon area?
We could.
I mean, if we wanted to, there's peyote too, which is a religious herb. You guys
Do you know
about that one?
I've heard of it. I've never done it. I don't know. I've
That's
never taken peyote.
I haven't either.
Our friends from the Freaky Deaky have been talking about new episodes that they want to try to do. Are you guys familiar with the concept of high strangeness? It's in the paranormal world, if it's not necessarily supernatural, not necessarily spiritual, but just very, very weird stuff that kind of fits. It's like a category of like paranormal, supernatural. It's just sort of occult, that kind of thing. So it's high strangeness, right? Well, the Freaky Deaky would like to do a series of episodes called Strange Highness, and they're going to get high and talk about paranormal stuff. It's like a whole episode, and I'm so jealous that they thought of that, because I want to do it, but we'd just be stealing from them at this point. So.
Well, especially if we went out and found our own mushrooms and then did it.
We're taking our lives in our own hands. I don't think I'm going to do that.
You can eat any mushroom
we'll
once.
become one with the spirit realm one way or the other.
So says Terry Pratchett. Yeah, we would. One way or the other, Cameron. That's right.
Maybe we would find a mushroom that would turn us into a cryptid.
Oh, maybe.
Grow hair.
We might think that we
get
did.
Big and strong.
Eat people.
Or maybe we could find the same mushroom that Nordic berserkers used to eat.
Oh yeah,
that's probably more along the lines.
We're majorly getting off topic here, though.
That's true. We'll get back on a topic.
We would become little people.
We would
like
become
an
little
Alice
people,
in Wonderland.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot
go.
about those Alice in Wonderland mushrooms. That's crazy. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna get us back on a topic. So I used to work at a rehab facility, and one of the nurses there was a Laguna Indian, and she told me some things. But one of the things that she told me, and I have been really desperate to learn more about, is this creature called the Gutanini. And a Gutanini is apparently a mini clown. And it's like evil, and it will come get you. And if you see it, you just steer clear. It's very, very bad news, the Gutanini. And I wanted to know more about it, and I wanted to see if she'd come on the podcast, and she made this face at me. So,
Well, yeah, you don't talk about those things. It invites them in. We know that.
Yeah, and she was very like, "You're fucking crazy," and she stopped talking to me after that. So about those kinds of things, anyway. But I've been desperate to hear more about the Gutanini, and I have Googled my little booty off trying to learn more about it, and it's just not something that exists on the internet. So if any of our listeners out there know about little people clowns that are bad news, I would love to hear more about that.
Well, there's little people
Peter
in all
Dinklage.
kinds of different Native American culture all over the place.
Yes. Would you
I
like
think
to hear?
that's a whole nother episode.
Could be. In fact, there's a lot. So there's this
a lot.
website called nativelanguages.org, and they have this whole section about little people mythology from a variety of different tribes. Would you guys like to hear about cannibal dwarves?
Yes.
Oh boy. So they are. Okay, hold on.
Did you know that they eat pygmies in Africa because they think they're an aphrodisiac?
What?
A little reverse on your story there.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's mean. How sad.
There's a guy that goes around, he tours and talks about it because he survived such an encounter with regular people in Africa.
Who were going to eat him to get
They
turned
ate
on?
his wife and child.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Was he an average sized man?
No,
I'm
he's a
confused.
pygmy. There's
he is
actually like
dwarfism?
there's actually a group of people that are just naturally shorter than the others. It's like a tribe down there, and
Oh, okay.
they
Because I think
eat
of
the pygmies.
well, nothing turns me on like eating another human being. So
You know,
yeah.
Well, you're about to talk about. Are you going to talk about the ones from the Great Basin? Is that the ones you're talking about now?
The cannibal dwarves.
Yeah.
These are from the Arapaho and the Cheyenne native tribes. They both have traditions about these.
Where are they at?
I don't know. Wherever the Cheyenne are. I feel like that's the Midwest. The Shoshone also have similar stories about these little people.
Okay, so Nymirga? Is that the name of him?
Nimerigar.
Nymirga is how I heard it pronounced.
Okay. And
they're
yeah,
like-
so that's the Shoshone.
Uh-huh.
In the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, well, in the Arapaho, it's a very long word. Hesesitehi.
Okay.
And actually, they have it. Hechasitaihi is the Arapaho, excuse me. And then in the Cheyenne, it's Vostanehesono. And these are different words that describe the same creature, essentially. And multiple tribes had interactions with these little people. And look, Pukwudgie comes up as a similar related figure. That's the Wampanoag. So
It's also a Paiute legend, too.
Is it a Paiute?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not
Shoshone
on
and
here.
Paiute.
Okay. So the little people, also known as cannibal dwarves or enemy dwarves, they're dangerous man-eaters, and they are particularly the enemies of the Arapaho tribe. The word literally means little people. And Tehihan, which is, I guess, part of like a derivative of their word, comes from the Arapaho word for strong. And they're said to have superhuman strength. They are also referred to as the Nemerigar, which that was the word that you said.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a name borrowed from the neighboring Shoshone tribe, who also had these legends of these people.
Yeah.
So from community to community, the descriptions of them vary a little bit, but they're basically said to be the size of kids. They're dark-skinned and extremely aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Some
I heard they were about 2 feet tall.
Oh, okay. Some storytellers say that they had the power to turn themselves invisible, while others were really hard to spot because they moved with incredible speed. Some people think that the dwarves have such a warlike temperament because they have to be killed in battle in order to reach the dwarf afterworld. Others think that they're as aggressive as they are. That kind of reminds me of the Nordic belief
Mm-hmm.
about getting
Valhalla.
Valhalla.
Mm-hmm.
Dwarves are just mini Nordics trying to get to Valhalla.
Maybe they emigrated.
Maybe. Others believe that they were just gluttons and they killed more than they could actually eat just because they could. In most versions of the story, the cannibal dwarves were eventually destroyed in an ancient war with the native tribes who allied with each other. They all got together and said, these cannibal dwarves are a problem. We need to deal with it. And so they annihilated the cannibal dwarves. And so the cannibal dwarves are no longer in existence. But it sounds like they believed that these were real physical creatures that they were coexisting with, which is interesting because there's also the story about a race of red-haired giants who were cannibals as well and were eating. I want to say it was the Utes, but I don't remember exactly. Somewhere north of here, not too far from here, like Colorado or Utah, somewhere in that area.
What's weird is that they were known as more civilized than the white man when they came, and they were
The
cannibals.
cannibal giants were more civilized than us?
That was something they said.
That's a statement, man. That's awful. We did not do...
I don't think it's true, but you know.
Our ancestors were bad news. Yeah, it's just kind of cool to think about, like, these were not mythos. Like, this was something that they really felt like they were living with and dealing with, and they had to go to war. They had to become allies with competing tribes in order to get rid of these things. They considered it such a problem, which is fascinating.
Same thing with the giants. Except the giants, the reason why they were considered so civilized is because that they would have a set of rules that were very plain and set out, and they would abide by them.
I did not know that about the giants. I thought that they were stealing villagers until finally the villagers were like, we can't have
They were hunting them, but if they ever came to an agreement, they abided by that agreement.
Oh, I see. I didn't know that. We should get into that one episode.
The information's pretty limited, and it'd be really interested to tie that in with the Denisovians.
Oh, yeah.
They believe that those might have been Denisovians. It's the other version of human that wasn't Neanderthal. 2 sets of teeth, elongated heads, and red hair, and white skin.
I did not know that. I did not know about that. The Denisovians.
That's interesting because that's a whole nother.
Mm-hmm.
That's giant people, though.
Giant people. Well, like we as Homo sapiens were the dominant species, and we overwon the Neanderthals and those other.
Denisovians were notorious for not breeding the same speed as the other races, and Neanderthals bred less than the Homo sapiens.
But more than the Denisovians.
Yeah.
But we as Homo sapiens wiped out all those other people.
Interbred.
Probably a combination.
But yeah, that's interesting too, because in researching some of these little people from Native American culture, sometimes they would get jealous of the people that were more interested in worshiping the giants than the little people, and they would get jealous sometimes.
That's crazy.
You can't discredit the hidden and treacherous versus the giant in the scene.
Right. Interesting.
Not as much information as I wanted.
What else, Cameron? What else you got?
Yeah, you did all the research, sir.
Okay, so we've talked about gnomes. We've talked about the duende. We've talked about... So, what about fairies? We haven't talked about the fairies. The true fae folk. So, fairies have existed in English culture and Irish culture since there were people. They were said to have been there from before there were people, and they're said to be there now. Typically, they only reveal themselves to children or those that aren't looking for them, or the untrained eye. Few people that are in their adulthood still see them today, and they will go on video and they will record an area where they say there's a group of them, and all that the video records are these streaks of like the rod phenomena. I don't know if you guys know about that one.
Kind of like orbs, except they're rod-shaped, right?
Rod-shaped, and it kind of has like a flowy filament. That's what's recorded by the cameras. So it's not like there isn't a recording of anything. It's just it doesn't look like a fairy.
Can I ask a question about that? Like the origin of the fairy, is it an actual little person with wings? Is it different from that? What is the actual, do you know?
So like the origin, I mean, it looked like they were just trickster spirits. They were the wisps, but with less light, so you could see what their form was. But then you go to other cultures and they were like insectoids. They kind of looked like they were more one with nature than they were with people. So they kind of take on different forms depending on where you go.
And you know, JT, about the will-o'-the-wisp. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I've heard of that.
Okay, so for any listener who doesn't know, will-o'-the-wisp is actually very dangerous. And they're like these floating, glowing orbs. And most of the myth that I've ever heard, they appear over like bogs and nearby cliffs, sometimes in the woods, and they're beautiful. And people will follow them. And the thing is, the wisp is intentionally leading you away from safety and into danger. And so people will follow the will-o'-the-wisps, and then something very bad usually ends up happening to them. They'll fall off the cliff, they'll sink into the bog, they'll fall into the water and drown. They'll end up lost and alone and not able to get back to their family or to the safe place.
They're very defensive of nature, and that
Yes.
makes them very much against people.
Okay.
Very, yeah. So if you're
Which is
saying,
the same
Cameron,
thing as fairies, except
Except-
fairies are when they're. I mean, so like the idea that I kind of got from it is that they could be one and the same. It's just fairies are more the outgoing, and they'll reveal themselves at daytime, where they're not just glowing orbs of light. It's just glowing people.
so like the big difference between like the little people we've been talking about and fairies is that the fairies can fly.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
Okay, but otherwise it's kind of similar attributes and behaviors.
Yeah.
And my understanding of fairy is that they exist in two realms, kind of like they can,
Just
depending
like
on
hobgoblins. That's why they would lure the children off to the woods, because they were actually taking them to a fey circle where they would then become the goblins themselves,
yeah,
thus
like goblins,
propagating their species.
hobgoblins are made, right? It's my understanding of that too.
Yes.
So like the fae or the fairy live in like a parallel reality, or like an invisible world, like the jinn, that exists beyond our visible reality. So like it's coexisting in the same place, but we can't see it. It's like a different realm of reality. And what drives me crazy about fairy is that there's a lot of people who think that fairy are these beautiful, good, wonderful things, when a lot of the old stories are ambivalent at best.
Let's discuss, where did we all first see fairies in pop culture?
The Labyrinth.
Yep.
What about
JT?
you, JT?
Tinkerbell?
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right.
Tinkerbell.
But
She's a
still,
Tinkerbell,
Labyrinth
right?
predated that for me. And what was the first thing you saw the guy doing? He was spraying it with insect killer.
Hogwarts was, he was killing them. Stupid fairies.
Disgusting creatures.
Did you ever see The Labyrinth?
Kind of, yeah, here and there. Around. I mean, Rachel did. She was a huge Labyrinth fan. Like,
we grew up with it.
yeah,
Yes.
I think I'm a little older than that. Like, I was a little like, that's stupid. A teenager type thing. I was more into Star Wars than fairies.
That makes sense. That's fair.
It was only about 5 years ago I found out what the lyrics to... I don't even know what the real lyrics are. I just know what I thought it was.
Which song?
To the David Bowie song?
It was a David Bowie
There
song.
were several.
And Smack That Baby, Make It Scream.
Oh,
maybe?
Dance Magic Dance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was Smack That Baby, Make It Bleed. I didn't know what the lyrics were.
Make him green.
It was darker in my mind for years.
Oh, darker for you. Okay.
I was like, wow, that's brutal.
If you really analyze that, it's a very dark movie.
It is, but I mean, it didn't need to be that dark, I guess.
So was Neverending Story, really.
Neverending Story.
That's a good story.
Dude, I heard, and I haven't read it for myself, but I heard that the movie Neverending Story is based on the first half of a written book, and I think it was a German author, if I recall correctly. The second half of the book is even darker.
Right.
I want to read it.
Disney or whoever, the movie makers, took it and turned it into a happy ending.
Yeah.
In the original book, that shit never got better. Like,
No.
all of it just completely continued to spiral into this deep, dark nothingness of depression.
When was it written? That's important, because if it's a German writer and it was the turn of the century, right around the World Wars.
Well, where did the Grimmerie come out of? Where did all these fairy tales come from? I mean, aren't all of the modern fairy tales that Disney does movies on, they were all originally dark? And
they were.
Wasn't that
the Grimm
from
tales.
Kind of the German area? Didn't that come out of German?
They all had a story to tell. They were all moral of the story, but like, here's what would happen if you ignore this.
They were very dark and they were bloody a lot of times. They did not have happy endings. And you're right, they were like parables. Like, parables were built into them. But honestly, I think they were as dark as they were because it came from a time when people remembered. When people had those stories passed down to them through generations of people who really experienced some shit. Who were really in it, you know? And we've turned around and turned them into these beautiful little fairy tales where they've lost their grittiness.
Like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. What are the dwarves based on? They look more like gnomes to me. But there's also little people lore that these dwarves or gnomes guard precious gems that you mine.
Mm-hmm. And to answer your question, The Never-Ending Story is a fantasy novel by German writer Michael Ende, published in 1979. So not that long ago. It's surprising.
That's pretty surprising.
So back to fairies.
Yeah, back to fairies.
We like to go on tangents, don't we?
No,
sometimes I think I want to read that. That's fine.
Okay, so we've talked about fairies, we've talked about goblins, we've talked about hobgoblins. No, we haven't talked about goblins, though.
No, we didn't talk about goblins. They're supposed to be ugly, right?
Well, they're the weathered old man with green skin.
I feel like they're not as dangerous as the beautiful ones. What is the legend?
Because you look at them and you already have a sense of distrust, so there's not really a whole lot that it would trick you to do.
But how big are goblins? Like,
it's child
size, small,
yeah,
the same as
small.
the others.
And for all we know, goblin could just really be another name for the same thing.
Okay, so
just
in
a
folklore,
different clothing choice.
Yeah. Goblins are common in English, Scottish, Welsh, and Irish folklore, serving as a blanket term for all sorts of evil or mischievous spirits. A red cap is a type of goblin who dyes its hat in human blood in the Anglo-Scottish border folklore.
Ooh.
Yikes. All right, then. I'd heard of red caps. I did not know that that's how it got its color.
Interesting.
Yikes.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Hobgoblins are friendly or trickster goblins. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I mean, they're friendlier, but they'll take your kids, so...
Hey, there's a South Korean goblin. It's known as a dokkaebi. Important creatures.
Didn't you have one?
Me?
JT had an Asian goblin.
I did.
I thought you did. Kind of briefly brought it up in the beginning.
Did I? I thought it was Native American.
Oh, it might have been.
Yeah.
It sounded very native. Very Asian to me.
Oh, the Yunui Tunsi? Is that the one?
Maybe.
That is it, actually, yeah.
Yunui Tunsi is a Cherokee little person.
Here's a fun one. So goblins have at times been conflated with the jinn, specifically the Ifrit and Gilan of Islamic culture, which kind of makes sense a little bit. I can understand why they would be conflated. And what if goblins are just the modern incarnation or like the English incarnation of the Lilin? Away from the desert, away from the heat and fire.
As they sort of bred out and migrated.
And migrated. Makes sense. And then, the succubus or the sleep demon, the sleep hag, is said to be a goblin that sits on your chest at night. That's a kind of goblin.
Especially when you look at the old pictures.
Yeah.
Gargoyles without wings.
Yes. Yes, they do. That's a good point. But gargoyles are supposed to be really good. Good friends who protect the home.
Well, isn't that what the Wende do?
Right. Interesting. We should.
Okay, here's something that I find interesting. I'm just you said red hat, and so I was like searching where the red hats from the gnomes come from. But the actual term gnome actually is Greek. Comes from the Greek word gnosis, or knowledge.
Oh, okay.
And Rachel did some research into that too, and there was a guy in Switzerland who did he write a book, or he wrote a book on nymphs, syphilids, pygmies, and salamanders, and all these little people kind of come from those, and it's a Greek idea that all these little people come from.
That's interesting.
Potential. Well, I mean, I that's just. But
maybe the name came from.
The main name might have come from Greek, but I don't know.
Back to your point about the Lilin.
Yeah.
Greeks. They had a lot of travel in those areas. They had a lot of pull in those areas. They also wrote more than most of the people in those areas. So what if this is the history of their migration?
Could be.
Okay, here's what I was. So the Swiss alchemist Paracelsus.
Okay.
He's the one that popularized the gnome when he declared them to be the most important of elemental spirits.
Elementals. Mm-hmm.
So elementals, and that's nymphs, syphilids, pygmies, and salamanders are all of different element.
Salamanders.
The salamanders would be fire.
I knew that somehow. How did I know that?
So nymphs are water.
Okay, makes sense.
And pygmies and syphilis. I think pygmies are the ground.
Do you mean a sylph?
Sylph, yeah. Sylph.
Yeah,
maybe that's.
I want to say that's air.
Air, yeah. Yeah, that's air. So that's. I mean, Rachel was doing some research into this to create our own, kind of fairy tale world around gnomes and stuff like that. So
fun.
We did a lot of research. Once upon a time, we were going to write a book, and then never went anywhere.
You guys should do it. Hey, you want to see my favorite gargoyle?
Sure.
Can you see it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
What the fuck? So when the rain comes down, it sprays out of that end?
Yep.
What?
The defecating gargoyle from Freiburg, Germany.
Well, now it's not loading for me, but I saw it before.
So the spigot comes out of his anus, and his butt is just pointed straight out to the road.
That gargoyle should be careful. Doesn't he know that's where the soul is?
Oh, yeah. That's true. What did we say that's called?
Reach right up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Gargoyles are a totally different thing, aren't they?
They are. I was actually looking to see if gargoyles were related, which is why I pulled this up, but I can't find anything. I'm going to look into it some more. Gargoyles are amazing. We should have an episode on gargoyles.
So the whole idea of Santa Claus is kind of derived from gnomes.
It seems like it.
Coming out of the north, red, because he would wear a hat. He has a red hat, red suit. Red.
So Santa, his suit is made from the blood of humans, like it's been dyed in the blood of humans. Our lovable
Or mushrooms.
That's true, the mushrooms. I forgot about that.
Well, I mean, it could. I mean, why red at Christmas? Why?
The blood of his enemies.
Santa bathed in the blood of his enemies, and that's how we know that we're safe.
Did you guys watch the one with who's that actor that was in? What's that show called? Stranger Things. Stranger Things. He played the sheriff, and he played Santa Claus in this movie.
Oh.
And in this movie, he was kidnapped by a bunch of assassins that were trying to hold a rich family hostage, and he broke out, and he had to relive his Nordic roots, and he slaughtered all the kidnappers.
Oh my! What movie? You don't remember the name of this?
Oh, I think
it's
know
just
what
called
movie you're
Santa.
talking about. I think so, and it's kind of dark. He's kind of gruffy looking Santa Claus, and it's like the red is very dirty.
Hold on.
Yeah, the sheriff from Stranger Things plays. I'm gonna have to watch that movie too.
Santa Claus movie, 2023. Violent Nights.
Oh,
Violent Nights.
excellent wordplay, fantastic.
To kind of play into that, where he was actually a Nordic warrior, and he's trying to put it all behind him by giving the kids presents. So it was the blood of his enemies.
Yeah. Here's a story. So this is from Chippy057 responding to a story about the Anishinaabe little people. So this is their comment in reply to the story. So they say, I have Cherokee family members who are extremely distant. My immediate family talks to them once every 15 to 20 years or so. They used to tell us that the little people were cannibalistic, and they would prey on the young children in the woods. They would lure the children out onto the fields to quote unquote play, taunting the parents after they had taken the children, and that the little people, they weren't just on the reservations, but even in the regular woods and backcountry all over. She says, frankly, I'm glad I live in a more suburban city than in the country now, because it still terrifies me. It's terrifying. You know what what?
Well, it's interesting because the Cherokee have the Yunwi-Sunsi, which is in the Appalachian Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a story of a young, a young boy that went out wandering in the mountains and got lost. And it was dark. It got dark, and then so he was out there and he was alone, and he decided to start, howling or calling for help, and realized that he was in these great woods and nobody was going to hear him. And then all of a sudden these beings, these little people, appear to him, and they kind of have a glow about them, and they actually guide him back to his village.
Aww.
Where he came from. And just throughout the night he followed them, and it was just light enough for him to be able to navigate through the dark forest, and they eventually let him back home. But you generally are a nice a nice little person, unless you're doing something to disturb sacred areas. They kind of guard the sacred areas of the forest.
And that fits, right? Like, that makes sense. You know what? This story's, now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if we took David Paulides, his map of the missing 411, and mapped it all out, and then mapped out stories of little people from the indigenous peoples, like where specifically these things were said to live. I wonder if there would be a strong correlation
There would be, except for the one we talked about, the Nymir gun.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the Great Basin. And if we go back to that
that's the big
map,
empty spot, right?
that's the big empty spot. But again, the story is that those are all gone now. Anyway.
The story is they got killed because the natives killed them. So maybe that's why we don't have missing 411 there anymore. We solved it. Now we know. We made a correlation no one else has ever made before, podcast listeners. Murderers.
Congratulations. You were successful in your slaughter of the little people.
Yes. They did it. Nobody else did it. I want to look at that now. We should totally look at that.
I mean, I was in that area. I was in the Great Basin area in South Dakota, the clover fields. And it's just miles and miles and miles and miles of
flatland.
Hills, rolling hills of
clover. Right. You showed me pictures.
Just forever. Just like
no trees?
The third of no trees. Like very few trees.
A lot of them are supposedly like forest spirits, so interesting to know if there was a forest there beforehand.
Yeah, but they're land spirits too, though. They dwell in the earth and they protect the animals. There's still animals out there. There's wildlife.
This is where the buffalo used to roam.
Yeah.
Used to roam.
I'm standing by it, Cameron. Don't you dare try to pop my bubble. This is what it is. It's the little people create the missing 411, and there are no missing 411.
No, I'm not saying that it's not. I'm just saying, maybe those little people aren't there to protect those things anymore, and that's why it's absent.
Oh. Because the native tribes killed them? Huh. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that land used to be like.
Yeah, I don't either. But I mean, now it's really is used for bees. That's really what it's used for. It's government controlled. You purchase a plot that doesn't have another beehive within 2 miles of it. And it's just open land.
Man. I can't believe it. What a crazy correlation of facts there.
The Great Basin doesn't have any missing 411 because the cannibalistic little people are gone.
Mm-hmm. They were successfully destroyed by the Shoshone and the Cheyenne and the Paiutes and all of those tribes that were there that banded together. Man.
So we are an hour and 12 minutes in.
I'm probably going to keep most of our tangents, by the way, because I think that they're funny.
I think so, too.
Okay.
They kind of still fit well, like, really.
They do, yeah. They do. So, well, I'm going to do this little PSA because 2 of us are in a garden club together. Be like a gnome and get out there and get dirty.
Yep.
Get dirty in your garden.
Plant.
Encourage little people to come help you.
There is
yes.
Actually, I was going to talk. You know what? I'll save this for when we talk about how to communicate with spirits. But there's a thing that you can do that's meant to be a gift for the spirits. It's a way of kind of offering and communicating with them. Anyway, I'll save that for later. I'll save that for that episode. Well, this was fun. It didn't turn out half as bad as I expected. We got through it. It was a good episode, I think. Thanks, Cameron, for leading us on this one.
Good job, Cameron.
Good job.
Yeah,
great job.
I try.
You did. You did.
That's good.
You led the way on this one. Okay, well, thank you, murderers, for sticking with us. I hope this was a fun one for you. This has been another episode of The Wandering Crow. Yay! That one sounded really good. All right.
Evil
cool.
cackling.